Mr. Speaker.
Minister Harriett Baldwin.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Our strategic vision for gender equality focuses on ending violence against women and girls, on girls' education, on promoting sexual and reproductive health and rights, and on women's empowerment.
Eddie Hughes.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I think it is vitally important that girls in developing countries have access to high-quality education. So what progress is the Department making to help ensure that happens?
Minister.
Well, I'm so pleased that he can support this 12 years of quality education campaign that we're leading around the world together with France and with Canada. It's an incredibly important part of development because evidence suggests that for every year that a girl spends in school, her lifetime earnings increase by 10%. So you can see how powerful that is in terms of prosperity for our world.
Alison Thewlis.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Women Deliver conference heard this week from Sosan Al-Rifai, a Yemeni development researcher and activist, who said it's important for Yemeni women to be at the table, but we need to make sure that Yemeni women's issues are at the table too. What is she doing to achieve this?
Minister.
Well, I'm very pleased to say that my colleague from the other place, Baroness Sugg, has been at that conference in Vancouver this week. And the Honourable Lady highlights a very, very important issue because actually the evidence and the research that we have done suggests that when you involve women in peace processes, the chances of them being successful and sustainable goes up very, very significantly.
Very Sherman.
Mr. Speaker, would the Minister agree with me? If we want to make women worldwide more equal, we've got to free them from poverty. And would she agree that when in a family there is a road death or serious injury, it plunges that family into poverty for long term? And would she agree with me? We must act now to stop this greatest epidemic of our times, which kills more women, more children worldwide.
Minister.
Well, can I pay tribute, Mr. Speaker, to the tireless work that the Honourable Gentleman does on behalf of road safety around the world. He and I have met to discuss this issue. It is one of the biggest killers around the world, and of course a killer of women and girls as well, girls on their way to school often. So we are thinking about how we can best make sure that where there is a need, obviously, to develop roads, that the road safety elements, for example, that the World Bank is providing finance for, are taken into account from the beginning.
Pre-Corgill.
Mr. Speaker, in their latest annual review, the CDC claims that of the jobs they supported, only 32% were for women and 68% were for men. Does the Minister agree with me that it is not acceptable that over twice as many men are being supported with jobs than women via these investments? And given her department's commitment towards gender equality, will she take this up directly with the CDC group?
Minister.
Well, I think, Mr. Speaker, we should rightly recognise the important work that CDC does in creating these jobs in the first place. This is absolutely vital way in which the UK can be one of the significant investors in some of the poorest economies, some of the most difficult to reach economies in the world, where very often the equality that we are almost beginning to enjoy here in our workplace has not yet reached many of these developing countries. She raises a very sensible and valid point, which I will be happy to be taking up.
David Amis.
Item 5, Mr. Speaker.